11 teams are now down to 4 as the finals kick off under lights tonight at Magic Park. It's this stage of the season where little moments count for so much, and one mistake or moment of magic can turn a match. Tonight it's the first chapter of the final series as the 4th place Broadmeadow Magic host the Premiers Edgeworth, who last weekend recorded a hat-trick of consecutive premierships and are hungry for more. The triple awaits. Two sides who are no stranger to finals meet this evening, and there is no love lost between these sides. Magic head into the clash on the back of a 9-match winning streak, and Edgeworth head into this one after a strange showing at home last weekend against Lake Macquarie. Finals football in the PS4 NPL Northern New South Wales begins tonight on Bar TV as Broadmeadow Magic host Edgeworth Eagles. Should be a cracking contest tonight. Broadmeadow finishing the season in 4th, 39 points, incredibly. They won their last 9 matches. They haven't lost in the NPL since they played Edgeworth here in round 12. The Eagles won 3-0 on that afternoon, and they were dominant in a 3-0 win. I'll run through the team lists in just a moment, but these are the changes for Edgeworth. Dylan Holtz, Aidan Bryce and Dom Bazari, they returned to the side after missing last weekend's 2-2 draw with Lake Macquarie at home. Kigo Moriyasu played in the 20s earlier tonight, so he goes back to the bench, as does Adam Corley, and strangely, Keanu Moore. He will be on the bench this evening. An interesting move from coach Damien Zane. He does like to rotate his squad, so there is an indication of that right there. For Broadmeadow Magic, John Griffiths and Shane Paul return to the side after card trouble forced them out of last weekend's win over Hamilton Olympic. And Takumi Sanada and Jeremy Wilson, they were in last weekend. They dropped back to the bench for tonight's clash. So some big changes there. For Edgeworth in goals, 20 Nate Cavalieri, 2 Daniel McBreen, 3 Dom Bazari, 4 Pat Wheeler, 5 Aidan Bryce, 6 Lockie Pasquale, 9 Brody Taylor, 10 Kieran Sanders, 11 Dylan Holtz, 15 Josh Evans the captain, 19 Aaron McLaughlin on the bench as the backup goalkeeper Josh Lowe in number 1, 18 Will Bauer, 17 Kigo Moriyasu, 14 Adam Corley and 8 Keanu Moore. We're going to head downstairs. Damien Smith is with Damien Zane, the Eagles coach.
Damien Zane, Edgeworth's head coach, mate. You won 3 premierships in a row. Massive congratulations. It's a different ball game today, semi-final series. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a whole different competition now. So, yeah, got to step up, play mistake-free football, and, yeah, hopefully get the job done.
Mate, we wish you all the best. Thanks, mate. Back to you, Bart.
So thanks to Damien Zane for having a chat. The Magic music is on here. This is how they line up tonight. In goals, 1 Nico Giantsopoulos, 3 Josh Piddington, the captain, 6 Alex Kantorowski, 7 James Vigili, 8 Matt Houle, 10 Scott Pettit, 11 Dino Fajkovic, 12 Shane Paul, as I mentioned, returns to the side, as does 14 John Griffiths, 19 Cale Bradbury, and 22 Lawrence Fotef. He was expected to miss the match with injury. He's in the side. On the bench is 9 Peter Haynes in his final match at Magic Park, 18 Charlie Cox, the youngster, 23 Takumi Sanada, 66 Brad McKenzie, and number 20 Jeremy Wilson. It's a chilly one tonight in Broadmeadow, 13 degrees. The wind very strong from the south, 34 kilometres an hour. So it'll be a chilly one. It'll be behind Edgeworth in the first half. They'll be from right to left of screen. Glenn Peterkin is our referee. The Eagles in black, Magic in their red. Magic on a 9-game winning streak. Edgeworth, a draw last weekend against the Roosters. We are underway in the first match of the final series. Edgeworth, who finishes the Premiers, number 1, up against the 4th placed Broadmeadow Magic in a repeat of the final series from 2015. It was the same story that year. Edgeworth finished as the Premiers. Magic finished 4th, and these two sides met in last year's grand final. Edgeworth won that 2-1. Daniel McBreen scored 2 goals that afternoon after James Vigili opened the scoring for Broadmeadow Magic. Smudge, don't you love this time of the year?
Love this time of the year, Bart. Semi-final football is just totally different. Just talking to Damien Zane there, we congratulate him on winning 3 premierships in a row. However, as he knows, and as everyone knows, semi-final football is totally different.
Dylan Holtz on to Kieran Sanders. And here is James Virgili with his first touch against the sideline. Aaron McLaughlin harassing him for the moment. Virgili down towards the corner flag. So it's going to be difficult for Magic in this first half. They're running into a very, very stiff breeze. Daniel McBrain with the flick on.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad when we were on the ground, actually. So you can probably feel the breeze more up here, Bart. But yeah, it wasn't too bad when I was interviewing Damien Zane on the ground. But obviously Edgeworth having the advantage of the first half. You know what? If I was coach, I'd be quite happy with that, because you know what? If you can put a lot of pressure on Magic, try get a few early goals. They're away goals. Away goals are so important today. And not having an away goal, obviously.
Exactly, and we've seen that, how important it is in the new FM. A huge upset today after Cahiba led 2-0 in the first leg. Bell Swan scored 3 away goals today to go through to the grand final next week. Incredible.
I was talking to our mate who's not here tonight, CT, and he was there when it was 0-0. I think David Hodgson broke his arm at the time.
Matt Hull chips it forward into the box. That one will be live on Bar TV next Sunday. That's here at Magic Park. Should be a good one.
Yeah.
Roger Taylor with a touchback to Aiden Bryce, and now Sanders.
Here's the key for me, Sanders, today. If you can, great turn by McBrain.
Josh Piddington clips him.
Obviously, one notable absent is Luke Virgili.
Yeah, Luke Virgili out. As I mentioned, as you were running up the stairs, Lawrence Fotef was also expected to miss the match. But Ruben Zadkovic, he's pulled a bit of a sneaky one there. He's brought him into the side.
Yeah, I think Luke Virgili should be right for next week. He's just got a bit of a hamstring twinge from the game against Moreton Bay in the FFA Cup. So, he said he was borderline playing today, but because it's over 2 legs, not worth the risk, because if he did it, he's gone for the season.
Bazari back to Evans.
So Magic going with a back 5 again, which worked so well against Hamilton last week. Bart, you weren't here, you were at the Snow. Lucky you.
Yeah, they did well, Broadmeadow Magic. Both sides rested key players. And the youngsters stood tall. And again, Virgili rolls one forward.
Sorry, and again, Matty Hurl. Matty Hurl was superb last week. He got our Sports Click man of the match, playing in that right side of stopper.
And he's very much a confidence player, isn't he? Lacking earlier in the season. He was red carded against Maitland back in round 9. He was really struggling for confidence at that stage. But since then, he's come into the side, played it right back, playing a little more centrally tonight. And he has been outstanding.
Outstanding. And Magic's backline has been better for him being in the backline. He's been superb.
And just let us know, Smudge, how are these two sides lining up tonight formation-wise?
Well, both are playing like a 5-3-2, so good challenge by Pennington. Yeah, both playing a 5-3-2. Jeremy Wilson, who done a fabulous job last week for Magic, is on the bench, and John Griffith comes back into the side, and Shane Paul's come in for Sonata as well. So it's sort of a bit of a game of chess here, like a 5-3-2, both sides playing that. Interesting, Keanu Moore is on the bench for Edgeworth, who's obviously he's a quality player. So he's going with Pasquale, just sitting in the front of the back 3, with 2 attacking 10s in Dylan Holtz and Brody Taylor. And both of them have been in superb form this year.
So Nate Cavalieri rolls it out to Josh Evans.
I think you'll find Daniel McBrain will also drop into the pockets.
Bazari.
IE just then. So he'll drop a little bit deeper.
Rolls it wide, looking for Aiden Bryce, and just shows you how dry the fields are. A little bit of sand coming up there.
Yeah, quite bumpy,
so dry, hasn't it, in the Hunter region of late. Little rain to speak of. We thought we may get some tonight, but...
Yeah, did you give a weather report when I was running upstairs? You did?
Give a weather report. Okay. Yeah, we were expecting winds of about 60 kilometres an hour from the south for this evening's match. I was checking earlier today. Luckily, it's only about 30, so...
And again, McBrain just dropping into the pockets. Sanders playing nice and high. With McBrain dropping into the pockets, that's creating a 6-man midfield. So actually overloading the midfield. So one of them will have a bit of space. So that's where I think Edgeworth could get on top. But also I think Bradbury will do the same for Magic. He'll probably drop a little bit deeper to try and overload the midfield when Magic's got the ball.
Well, the coaches, during the week, they spoke about each other in this match. Ruben Zadkovic was gushing in praise for Edgeworth. He said they're a classy side. Damien Zane simply said, we beat them last time we played them, in response to that 9-game winning streak that Magic have put on. And Edgeworth last weekend, a 2-2 draw with Lake Macquarie. They'd already won the minor premiership. The question I've got, Smudge, is do you read too much into that? They were down 2-0. Damien Zane was very disappointed with the Eagles giving Lockie Pasquale the penalty early on when it was 0-0 to put them ahead 1-0. Lockie Pasquale's penalty was saved by Ben Kelly. And then Lake Macquarie scored 2 goals. The Eagles asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, I would have been scathing as well, because it's all about the results, all about the momentum, getting the 3 points. You know, Damien Zane wants to win the comp by not by 3, by 5 points. But also, you know, they get the penalty. It would be hard to actually track back, I think. I think it would be a very difficult task for Lake Macquarie. But full to credit to Lake Macquarie, they didn't sit back. The season was over, however, they played the full 90 minutes and had a 2-2 draw.
Well, incredibly, if Lockie Pasquale had have scored last weekend, it would have been their 15th different goal scorer this year for Edgeworth. They've got the most individual goal scorers with 14.
And that's all about a team effort, isn't it? And the way they rotate. And their forward runs from midfield. All their midfielders score goals. Their strikers score goals. You look at Kieran Sanders and McBreen who are playing up front. They have a high assist rate as well. So it's just such a well-built team, well-built unit. And if you look at their shape right here, their back fives stand right up. There's about 20 yards between their back 5 and their strikers. They've really compressed the space. And I think this game is going to be a bit of a tit for tat, a bit of a game of chess. It's going to be, there won't be too much in it. Like we said, Bart, you can't win a semi-final series in the first leg, but you can lose a semi-final series in the first leg, especially if you're the home team.
Now we've got Kyle Bradbury going to the book early on. Not playing at the back, so it's not going to have too much of an impact on Magic, but he'll have to just be careful now.
Just on this, look at Magic. They're just outside the 100-yard box. Dunaf Fadge is about 15 yards in front of Pennington. Look how condensed the space is. They've really got a set pattern of play here, Broadmeadow Magic, especially in defensive.
I'll ask you about how you would go about coming into a match like this if you're both sides. As Pennington with a header away, and now Virgili looked to be a handball and is. So if you're Ruben Zadkovic, how are you approaching this one?
Exactly what they're doing right now, just compacting the space. I'd be playing a 5 at the back, especially going into the wind. You know Edgeworth like the bomb forward. They get their wide like Aidan Bryce and Aaron Lachlan. They'll be overlapping, so they've got enough numbers there to cover that. But also you've got your deep midfielders, or your Brody Taylors and your Dylan Holtz making forward runs beyond the back 5. So therefore you also got cover.
Zadkovic goes wide to James Virgili. Aaron McLaughlin shepherding him towards the byline, and Virgili can't bring his cross, whip it in. He was in doubt for this one, James Virgili, with an ankle injury picked up last weekend. Late in the Olympic victory, scored a penalty in that win.
And just on that, we talk about the back 5. James Virgili is burning down the right-hand side. He had to get past Aaron McLaughlin, then Dom Bazari. As an easy double team, you've got spare numbers at the back playing the 5. Now look how tight Fadjovic to Pennington is. It's about 15 yards.
Here's a
great run.
Ball over the top for Aaron McLaughlin. He'll get there first, but that one is going to go over the fence. No, it isn't. It's just going to sit in front of it. The power of the wind just showing you there. The ball bouncing up and too hard to control for McLaughlin.
Yeah, so on that's the risk what Magic take. They're playing a really high line. If Bazari, Pat Wheeler, Josh Evans can just spin the ball over the back 4, turn them round and get a forward runner like Aaron McLaughlin did then, that's where they could be dangerous. Because it's too compact and too bouncy to play 1-2s through the centre of the park at the moment.
And if you look at the statistics, Broadmeadow Magic and Edgeworth, there's not much between them in attack. 39 goals for Magic this year. Edgeworth have scored 42. It's defence, which is the real difference. Magic have conceded 27. Edgeworth just 14.
Yeah, on that, you have to remember Magic conceded 12 goals in 2 games. One was against Maitland, 7 Blot, and the other one was at 5 against Lake Macquarie?
Yes.
Yes.
This one.
So you take 12 goals out of that, what's that come down to? About 15 goals. So
it's Kyle Bradbury.
And on that, they've probably conceded about 9.
4. It was 4 against Lake Macquarie, I'm sorry. 4-1. Yep. So yeah, McBreen just offside, but that is a huge chunk of goals, isn't it? So 7 they conceded against Maitland here, 4 against Lake Macquarie. So goals they've conceded at Magic Park, they've conceded 19 in their home matches in 10 games. So you take out those two and they've conceded 8 in 8.
Yes, that's right.
Incredible.
Yep. But also, it'd be interesting to see how many penalties against Magic this year. There'll be at least 8 or 9, I'd say. There was 4 in one game, or was it 5 in one game? At Maitland.
7-0, it was 4, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's McBrain. Yeah, just incredible that period of time. Their record away from home is pretty good, Broadmeadow Magic. They've only lost 1 game as Dylan Holtz knocked to ground. He doesn't stay down too often. He may be winded. Yeah, 1 loss away from home for Broadmeadow Magic. Edgeworth have had 2 in their 10 matches. Magic 6 wins and 4 losses here.
This is very interesting. Dylan Holtz never stays down, does he?
No,
he
he never does.
Must have really got himself. I didn't see the replay.
He is very tough. So I'm thinking, unless he's caught one in the lower region, yeah, maybe he has. We'll see. Don't know if we have a replay. 11.5 gone here at Magic Park. Semi-final number 1, the first leg. Team 1 v Team 4, Edgeworth against Magic. Ben Homer and Damien Smith in commentary. CT's at a party, Smudge.
Yeah, he's at a party, so we'll talk more about that in the second half. But yeah, he's neglected us tonight, Bart, and like you said, I think he's had a few cans at Hyber versus Bell Swans this afternoon.
He was there.
And he continued to party on out at Belmont, which we'll talk about in the second half.
Dylan Holtz, I'd say, be out there shortly. You can hear the wind just getting up a little bit. A strong gust there as Matt Hoole into the box.
Great header by Josh Evans.
James Virgili curled in by Paul Gazzari, and now Pasquale.
Pasquale's another one who started the season quite slowly, and he's...
Matt Hoole brought that one down nice, I thought. Appeals for handball. I thought it was chest. Now he does handball it. And Glenn Peterkins has dropped the ball. And let's get on with it. And Don Bazzari does so. And quickly looks long for Kieran Sanders. Can Sanders get around? He almost got... Well, he did get goal side of Pennington.
He did well, Pennington, but just put him off.
That was reminiscent of some of the balls Mitch Oxborough was putting over the top for James Virgili to run onto. That ball from Don Bazzari on his left foot.
Yeah, just on Mitch Oxborough. He's a big loss for Magic. You know, they've got a quality side, but however, Mitch Oxborough just gave him that bit of class, bit of finesse in midfield. He could knock that 50-yard ball. And I think out of the 6 games, 5 was Oxborough Virgili goal from a long pass.
Since he's left, they've won 2 of 3. They lost that FFA Cup match, of course, to Moreton Bay 4-2, and they beat the Jets and Olympic in the NPL 2-0 and 2-1. Pasquale. Now McLaughlin, who scored Edgeworth's opening goal last week, Aaron McLaughlin, 15 minutes from time. It's that period again for Edgeworth, the final 15 minutes. They've conceded only 2 goals in all competitions this season in the final 15 minutes. One was against Hamilton Olympic in the FFA Cup. The other was against South Melbourne in the FFA Cup.
In the last second.
In the last kick of the game, Brodie Taylor over the top for Sanders, who's just offside.
I like how Sanders just hangs on the 2 stoppers. He's like a Barisha. He gets offside a little bit, but you know, if he's onside, he's away. He likes to hang just off their shoulder and goes. Sometimes the ball has to play a little bit early because he's ready for it. He's such a quality player. Speaking
of Edgeworth and their defence, they have this season they've had the best defence in the league by any side since 2003. 14 goals in 20 games at 0.7 goals conceded per game. You have to go back to 2003 to the Magic side, who conceded 6 goals in 18 matches at 0.3 goals per match. Were you the coach then, Smart?
I was the coach then, yep. And you know what? One of those games we played late Macquarie. It was the second last game of the season. We're up 7-0, and late Macquarie scored 2 goals in the final 10 minutes when we already won the comp. And I think it was the second last game of the season, but we didn't realise how well we're going. We sort of...
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah.
6 goals conceded in 18 matches.
And that year we played a 5 at the back, or in essence a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2. So
we won't talk about the grand final though. That season Magic went down to Edgeworth 2-1, a golden goal
to Chris Berlin. I remember that. That was here.
This one curled in. Fotef with the header away. Holtz! Well, that one almost came out of a cannon. It did. It just goes wide.
Great strike. He's got the wind behind him as well. That's what Edgeworth need to do. That's their first opportunity on goal, or second opportunity on goal, actually. But that
would have been a stunning strike because with the wind swirling around, strong behind him. That's a tough one to keep down. And just sprayed it wide. He launched it. Now, it was Chris Turner coaching Lake Macquarie then? 2003?
No, he wasn't. I'm just trying to think who was. He wasn't.
Nico Giant-Sopoulos with the goal kick. Interesting news on him. Ruben Zadkovic said this week that they are keen on keeping him for next year. And they've signed Paul Bitts, who was former Adamstown goalkeeper, who left earlier in the season.
Look how condensed this field is. Both sides are playing a very compact style. Offside again.
And McLaughlin just caught offside. So interesting on the recruitment front for the next season. Daniel Miners has joined Broadmeadow Magic. Also been rumours about Cody Carroll as well.
Yeah, I heard that rumour when we got here.
I heard he signed for Olympics, so...
Yeah, a few weeks ago, that's what I heard. Then I walked in the gate today and we're just talking to a few of the general citizens in the crowd, and yeah, rumour has it Cody's moved on to Broadmeadow next year.
There you go.
I don't really know what the story is, but...
I'm sure we'll find out in due course. Lawrence Fotef. The throw, and Josh Evans the header away. Also on recruitment for Magic, Jacob Bailey as well. He missed this season with the ACL injury. Rumours that he could be here at Magic next season, so interesting there.
Yeah, it's the first I've heard that part, but yeah, I think Hamilton's missed Jacob Bailey's leadership and just his work rate in the centre of the park this year. But however, the two Swan boys, Matt and Andrew Swan, have been superb of late.
Yeah, they're going up to Maitland next year with Mick Bulch, so interesting times ahead. 17 and a half gone here.
Big merry-go-round for next year, isn't there?
It is.
With coaches and players.
Get on the carousel, Smudge. Are you jumping on the carousel?
No, mate, not me.
You back for Bar TV for another year, are you?
Yeah, maybe. I've enjoyed it this year, so just need to talk to the wife first.
Josh Evans now.
And again,
Bazari with the stab over the top. McLaughlin. What were you mentioning, Smudge?
I was just going to say McBreen, just dropping a little bit deeper, forcing one of the Magic's fullbacks to actually drop into the hole, creating a space in their back five. However, with the wind and the bounce, the ball wasn't delivered quick. I thought, there's a ball on the park.
Two balls on the park.
Oh.
Sanders takes them on. Down the left. It was well defended.
Absolutely brilliantly defended by Johnny Griff, wasn't it?
It was John Griffiths. Yeah, beautiful body position from him. Just guides it over the byline.
He's had a superb season, Johnny Griff. He's played in the centre of the park as a number 6 and also in the back line. He's been absolutely superb. See, yeah, the other thing is, and again, look how condensed the space is. This is the most I've seen a game so condensed. Both sides are giving nothing away. They're playing compact. So this game is going to be limited with chances, especially with the wind, especially with the bumpy pitch, but also the way the teams have been playing. They're really clogging up the middle of the park.
We could see the ball just holding up there in the breeze as Josh Evans puts that one over the sideline. Just shows you the strength of that breeze from the south. And this match is reminding me a lot of one a few weeks ago at Darling Street Oval, where Hamilton won 1-0 against Edgeworth. They just ground out a 1-0 victory. They kept the space very compact. That's what it's been like in the opening 19 minutes of this one. It's Don Bazari up and over the top, looking for Sanders.
Great pressure by James Virgili, forcing the long ball from Don Bazari. Sanders has done well there, used his body well.
Do you think Ruben Zadkovic has given John Griffiths the assignment on Kieran Sanders tonight and will over the next 2 weeks?
Not really. I think his back three have been superb in Hoole, Pinkton and Johnny Griff. So I think the three of them will be nice and tight on either of them. Whatever side Sanders goes. If I was Sanders, I'd probably more float to Matty Hoole, sort of play off Matty Hoole's shoulder, due to the fact that that's not his natural position, playing right-sided stopper. However, I think Matty Hoole will do a good job on him. But for me, Sanders is one of the high-quality players in the competition, and he's had a superb year. I was going to go back on Lachlan Pasquale. He had a bit of a slow start to the season and he's really come of age in the second half of the season and been a pivotal figure for Edgeworth.
Yeah, the Rookie of the Year. He was nominated last year for Rookie of the Year.
So just at the moment, everybody is in that side of the park. Yep, we've barely seen that this year. Look how compact it is. Both sides are playing very cautious today, which obviously it's a two-legged game. You know, like we said, you can lose a semi-final in the first leg.
And last year, Magic played here in the first leg of the semi-finals. They finished third. Hamilton Olympic second. They won 3-1 in the opening leg, and, well, we don't have to tell you the story of the second leg. That was a cracking contest at Darling Street, where Olympic fought back into it, but just couldn't get the job done. Magic winning that one 2-1.
Oh, great touch by Kieran Sanders. Under pressure. Great touch. And if you watch our weekly show, you'll see the highlights of the second leg.
Here's Bazzari. Leaving it for Evans.
And again, Piddington's really pushed the back line up very high.
Pat Wheeler goes back to Cavalieri. Miscommunication between the two of them last weekend against Lake Macquarie led to the opening goal for Sam Walker. Rare defensive mistake from Pat Wheeler. He's been rock solid this year, hasn't he? Probably one of the top 5 players in the competition this year as he turns the ball over, as always happens when you give someone
the commentators first. Yeah, for me, he's probably been one of the top 3 players in the competition. He's been absolutely superb. He's part of the reason, same with Josh Evans in the back line and Nate Cavalier, that they've only conceded 12 goals, or 14 goals.
They've had a stranglehold over this fixture, Edgeworth. They're unbeaten, I should say, in their last 8 matches against Broadmeadow, dating back to the 4-1 win that Magic had over Edgeworth in round 3 in 2015. That was in Damien Zane's second match in charge, or third match in charge, I think. There was a wet weather match, so I'm not sure if it was his second or third match that got washed out at the start of that season. Fajkovic Dino scored 1. Carl Bradbury a double, Peter Haynes on the board, and Josh Evans scored that night for Edgeworth. So that was the last time they got the job done. That was when Rob Vigili was at the helm with Bobby Newhoff.
Just on Damien Zane, a massive congratulations to him and his support staff. 3 premierships in a row. He's been coaching for 3 years and he's won 3 premierships at an NPL level. That's a mean feat, isn't it?
And they will play against Canberra Olympic in the NPL final series later next month. So a good draw for Northern New South Wales.
Oh, nice touch by Bradbury.
Here's Pettit down the left edge. Fadchubik in the middle, and Pettit, who's scored in his last 3 matches, a goal in each of his last 3. He hadn't scored up to that point. It was the round 20 match against Maitland. He's been on a roll since then. And
he scored a header last week, Bart. I've coached Scotty for a lot of years, and mainly scoring bombs outside the 18-yard box, but I've barely ever seen him score a header, so he sneaked into the back stick last week. Great ball by Josh Evans.
And now Aaron McLaughlin. And he put one on a dime. Gee, the crossing from both sides has been pretty poor tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah, but what a superb ball by Josh Evans to Aaron McLaughlin. And again, that's where, because Magic's playing the high line, it's a smart thing to do because the wind's actually pushing the ball quite far into the keeper or out. But however, Josh Evans' ball then, bit of back spin on it, so it held up nice for Aaron McLaughlin. And he needs to do better there, Aaron. I think Jamie Zane would be a bit disappointed.
2 things I've got to say, Smudge.
Yep.
What is causing the lack of goals here today at Magic Park? So we've had only 1 goal in 2 matches and 24 minutes. So the emerging Jets went down 1-0 to Adamstown in the 18s, and it was 0-0 between Edgeworth and Hamilton in the 20s. Is it the wind, or is it the first leg you just want to be a little bit more conservative? Here's Holtz. I come back to that point. He got a little tug from Griffiths the back heel and whipped over towards the sideline. Do you think it's a combination of both, or do you think it's just the first leg syndrome?
Combination. Definitely the weather's playing havoc with the wind. It's really hard to control it and get into a bit of a tempo. That's a great ball in.
Bazzari in. Giant Sopless fumbles, but no one there to make him pay.
But also, everyone's playing a bit cautious. I think the teams who came in fourth cannot afford to concede too many goals. Away goals can be killers in the first leg, and so they're probably playing a bit more of a defensive lineup or structure. I think here Magic's been a bit cautious as well, playing 5 at the back, definitely. And obviously they're going to use their counter-attacking weapons in Vigili, Bradbury and Fajkovic, and also Pettit.
Here's Bradbury. Now on to Scott Pettit. Curls it in, Fajkovic. And Dom Bazzari got his head between Fajkovic and the goal to ensure the danger was avoided.
Great ball in by Scotty Pettit.
And Alex Kantorowski, I'm not sure if he meant that one to go back to Piddington. Bryce gets a toe to it. And now Kantorowski fears he'd done his ACL midway through the season, but he's back.
Yeah.
back half of the season. Started the season well, Alex Kantorowski, then the injury, and then has come back into the side and been strong in there.
Strong as, yeah. He's one of those ball winners. Him and Shane Paul in the centre of the park work very well together. They're ball winners, and they don't mind a bit of rough and tumble as well. So
they don't, do they? Shane Paul in the middle along with Alex Kantorowski. They do a ton of hard work. Lawrence Fotev, he's missed the bulk of the season as well through injury and was expected to miss tonight as well. He's in the side. Ruben Zadkovic barking out orders to his troops.
Yeah, he's wanting Dino to push him on the left-hand side, keep him in this way, because that's with all the players. It's all clogged up. There's nowhere to go unless he goes over the top.
2 meetings this year between the sides. 1-1 it was in round 1, and in round 12, we mentioned that earlier, Edgeworth 3-0 winners. Adam Corley with a double and Brodie Taylor with a goal, and they scored within the opening 6 minutes in that last meeting, did Edgeworth. And
you know that game, Bart, that's probably the most dominant display I've seen Edgeworth all year. They absolutely dominated Broadmeadow Magic that game. Broadmeadow weren't at the races, as they say. But since then, Broadmeadow went on the 9-winning streak, so...
McBrain slices that one off the outside of his boot,
and the wind.
And it'll just run over the byline. Yeah, so that match in round 12, we said they were so dominant. It was 1-0 after about 6 minutes. Brodie Taylor scored just before half-time to make it 2-0, and then Adam Corley in the second half made it 3-0.
But 3-0 wasn't a reflection on the game. Edgeworth totally dominated the game. They looked very comfortable. They played a 5-3-2.
And in their round 1 match, we remember that one for all the wrong reasons, probably.
That was entertaining, wasn't it?
Was
on and off the park.
On and off. Yeah, it was on the park.
Yeah.
Well, and when we're doing our interviews post-match, I'll get to that in just a sec. But Peter Haynes opened the scoring for Magic with a penalty. Aidan Bryce was sent off before the penalty, which led to the penalty. Here's Holtz bursting through a gap. He's got McBrain with him. McBrain! Masterful from Daniel McBrain at Magic Park again. He comes back to haunt Broadmeadow Magic as he did in the grand final last year. 1-0 to Edgeworth inside half an hour.
What a great run by Dylan Holtz. That's what we say. They play. It'll be good to see a replay. Here we go. They're 2 number 10s, Dylan Holtz, Brodie Taylor. They're the best in the business. They make these forward runs beyond the back 3, beyond the back 4. Made the forward run, and what a great smart pass to Daniel McBrain, and the veteran just slogged it home perfectly.
3 goals this year for Daniel McBrain. Only 3. Gee, he picks the time to score them well, doesn't he?
And you know the thing, that's an away goal. It's still a long way to go in the tie.
Displeasure from Edgeworth players about the handball from Kantorowski there.
So just going back to the goal, actually Magic back 3 or back 4 were just caught out a little bit. I just don't know I can't remember the plays just prior to that, but they tend to be opened up, and therefore it was 2v2 at the back, and yeah, it was well played by Edgeworth. And again, they're just trying to...
They opened up, didn't they?
Offside.
McBrain just caught offside. Gee, didn't they open up? They've been so compact, so tight, and a gap appears and Edgeworth pounce immediately.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reflect back what happened just prior to that, because I don't know how they just opened up for the first time in the whole match. And that's a credit to Edgeworth. They're such a dangerous side, such a classy outfit. They get 1 half sniff, or their second half sniff, and it's a goal. But Dylan Holtz, full credit to him. Great lay off to McBrain, who finishes it so well. And again,
the veteran. You haven't mentioned his age this year yet,
You know what? That's the first time I mentioned veteran. I take it back. I said I wouldn't all year, so...
We'll be on to you as Glenn Peterkin gives the free kick to Broadmeadow Magic.
And just on Daniel McBrain, you and Daniel McBrain are doing Fox round 16 with Foxtel. Round 16 of the FFA Cup with Fox in a few weeks.
Yes, I'll be back with Daniel McBrain again. We had a high-scoring match, the first one. Final with Queensland Heat got... towed up by Sydney United 7-2. So
yeah, congratulations. I was listening to bits and pieces of the game, and I think he's both done a fabulous job. Obviously, you made Daniel McBrain look good. So
I think it was the other way around.
Sound good. So
Nate Cavalieri, straight to Kantorowski, who gives the ball up immediately to Holtz, and now McLaughlin. Kantorowski wins the free kick. but just really nothing doing in the match, and it opens up. And that's the most impressive thing from Edgeworth. They get one chance, and they make Magic pay for it.
Yeah, totally. Josh Evans, his positional play today has been absolutely superb. He's sort of playing like a bit of a sweeper role in that back three.
Here's Fajkovic.
He's a good player, isn't he, Bart? He's been very impressive.
Josh Evans now down the touchline.
Whoa!
Gets bumped to ground. I think it was Lawrence Fodev. We're just a bit blindsided here.
Yeah, it was Lawrence Fodev.
Box.
Josh Evans going for a run down the left-hand side, just clipped
and
by Lawrence Fodev.
on the camera downstairs as well, as you can see. Yeah, and he scored last year, first leg of the semi-final, Daniel McBrain against Maitland for Edgeworth in the 1v4 match, as we see this again. So it's just incredible. Big games.
Fair
Big
ball.
players turn up. It could be two. Magic are probably lucky that it isn't two.
Yeah,
but they have a chance here to break. They may have to be a little more open now.
Oh, great
Broadmeadow,
challenge.
Pasquale. This one up the ground. As we mentioned, Smudge, there is no love lost between these two sides, is there?
To be honest, when I was coaching, I loved coaching the Magic versus Olympic, Magic versus Edgeworth. They're great spectacles. They're intense. The crowd's in with the game. I enjoy watching it as well. So, and you're right, there's no love lost.
On and off the park is Bizarri. Now Vigili with a bit of head tennis.
Yeah, Giant Sobless just got a little bit lost with that cross, so they're quite lucky, Magic. And again, Josh Evans, great touch.
And it is a tough night for goalkeepers, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
On a night like this where the breeze is swirling, it may have just dropped a little bit, which is better for the players. Bizarri. A reminder that Edgeworth do have the win behind them in the first half.
And quite a strong win. I think it's at least a goal win, to be honest. But in saying that, if you look at the 20s, Hamilton, who won the premiership in a canter, couldn't score with the win. So some teams like to play into the win because it's easy to play. You know, you can keep the ball in the deck.
And that's the thing. In rugby league, you go, well, that's a 12-point win, a 10-point win. In football, it's rare that you probably say, well, that's a goal win, because it can benefit sides differently, running into the win and running with the wind.
Yeah, if you're a ball-playing side, you want to be running into the wing. You can get the ball on the deck, you play your short passes, you're not playing the longer balls. But if you're a team who likes to play the longer balls, probably, great challenge by Pat Wheeler.
Here is McBrain.
Back stick.
Chipping it in, Brodie Taylor!
Oh!
And headed over the byline. Diving in there was Alex Kantorowski. And Brodie Taylor, he's been in some hot goal-scoring form of late. He almost had another one there.
And that's what I say. Brodie Taylor and Dylan Holtz are the best in the business in playing in that number 10 role, or number 6 or 8, and making that runs beyond the back four, like then. But full credit to Alex Kantorowski for running back. And that's probably how Dylan Holtz got in the first half. Got the space. Probably no one tracked him. I'm unsure.
Well, he loves playing, as this one's curled in by Sanders. He absolutely loves playing against Broadmeadow Magic. Brodie Taylor. He scored 3 goals in his last 5 matches. He scored the equaliser last weekend against Lake Macquarie in stoppage time. And who assisted that goal? None other than Daniel McBrain. The header up and over the top. Is Damien Zane yelling at some orders? Don't see him get that emotional on the bench.
Oh, it's a big game today. He knows how big this game is. I spoke to him earlier in the day and he was pretty pumped for it.
Here's Evans. Goes low, looking for Aiden Bryce. Bryce, who we mentioned was sent off in that opening round match against Magic.
And again, see here, Pat Wheeler's been caught up the field a little bit. They're a bit scarce at the back here, Edgeworth. They just need to be a little bit careful. That's what happened to Magic, and that's how Edgeworth scored. Your back three have to say back three.
What does Ruben do here in terms of they're down by a goal 10 minutes before half time?
Nothing.
Just keeps it the same, ensures that they don't concede.
That's right. You know what? They've been rock solid for the first half. That's the first time their back three had split, which created space, and Edgeworth score.
Would you say either side deserves would you say Edgeworth deserve a 1-0 lead, or would you say a fair reflection is a level scoreboard at this point?
Maybe Edgeworth slightly in front, do you think?
I'd probably say 0-all.
Yeah, 0-all, yeah.
0-all's probably fair enough. Edgeworth have pretty much had one chance. They took it.
Yeah,
So
they probably had about...
Edgeworth probably better field position in the opening half. I'd
Yeah,
say.
that's what I was going to say. Probably slightly better field position going forward in and around the box. But they've had the wind. But Magic's been rock solid in defence. And that one lapse of concentration, they just got a bit caught at the back. Goal to Edgeworth. And that's a sign of a great side, isn't it?
And that's expected when you've got the wind behind you to have more of the field position, as John Griffiths has brought down. Free kick goes away of the home side.
And this is what Magic doesn't want. You don't want John Griffiths, Pennington and Matty Hoole bringing the ball forward. That's what happened with Pat Wheeler just earlier. They lost the ball and then they were caught 2 at the back. When you play 3 at the back, you need 3 at the back, and they just stay put.
The question for me is Magic, they're going to have the wind behind them in the second half. Can they take their chances or chance like Edgeworth have?
I think so, but the thing is, what Edgeworth bar Dylan Holtz, they haven't had many shots outside the box.
Here's Hoole whipping in a wicked ball towards the back post, and McGreen is up for the header, and it'll be a corner. So this is where Magic can be dangerous from the set pieces with the wind. It's going to be tough for Cavalieri and goals. It's been so impressive this season, 9 clean sheets.
That's very impressive.
20 matches.
That's nearly 1 in 2, isn't it? That's very impressive.
And it doesn't just reflect the goalkeeper, it reflects the whole defence, doesn't it?
The whole defensive
goalkeeper,
unit.
defensive.
It reflects Damien Zane. His structure, his defensive structure is spot on.
Here's Hoole on the non-preferred side for the right footer. And Holtz with the up and over clearance to Gilly. Deeper than you'd normally expect him to be. It's across the sideline. An omen here for Edgeworth. Last time they did not win their final regular season match. So last week they had a 2-2 draw with Lake Macquarie. The last season that they did not win their final regular season match and played finals was 2014. They were knocked out 2-1 by Charlestown in the elimination final.
Okay.
Interesting statistic there.
Mate, you're full of your stats. I look forward to Bar TV and coming to listen to your stats each week, Bart. It's just unbelievable. CT and myself are doing the game tomorrow, Lambton versus Hamilton, and we've got no stats.
You're in trouble then. Lucky Jim Pappas from Hamilton's got you sorted.
Yeah, he's helping us out, but we'll just make them up and people believe us, hopefully.
Now
we've got a few stats in the pipeline. Jimmy Pappas from Hamilton Olympics helped us out.
Yeah, so tomorrow from 2:30 or 2:25, it'll be Hamilton Olympic, or I should say Lambton Jaffers at home to Hamilton Olympic at Arthur Eden Oval. A repeat of the 2015 finals, as we mentioned. Edgeworth and Magic, and
great
Lambton and Hamilton. It's Pennington with a head there. And I'll be at the WPL Grand Final at Edgeworth, Warners Bay and Merriweather. It's the grand final everyone wanted, 1v2. They were streets ahead of the rest of the competition. I can't wait to head out there. There's a few W League stars in action.
So what's your prediction tomorrow, Bart?
Oh, extra time in that one. I think it'll be extra time, potentially penalties, as McLaughlin just goes over the bar. It's a near thing. Yeah, well, there's an interesting stat smudge in the WPL, 9 seasons, so this is the 9th season. No, there's only one side that has won the Premiership and the Championship in the same year.
Oh, really? And who's that?
That was Merriweather in 2015, so Warners Bay will be looking to be just the second side to do that against Merriweather tomorrow. So Merriweather will want to stop them doing that.
Did you do any snow skiing down at the snow, or you just do all your research?
No, I did plenty of skiing, Smudge.
Okay.
We had a bit of odd weather at times, but got a bit in. Kantarowski shouldered to ground. It'll only bring the whistle of Peter Kenner, not the cards.
He's been in the walls, Kantarowski. He's been rock solid in the centre of the park.
He dishes it out and he can cop it as well, can't he,
which
Alex
is good.
Kantarowski?
Yeah, exactly. You like players who can dish it out and also cop it. If they dish it out and can't cop it, well then you
kick him out there. McLaughlin. So 5 minutes before the interval. Crucial 5 minutes. They're always important. More so, it's amplified in the finals arena. Matt Hoole.
You know, the key for Magic here is they do not concede again this half and for the rest of the game. Obviously, that's an obvious statement, but it's all about away goals. First leg's all about away goals.
And this is the period they conceded in the last match here at Magic Park between the sides. It was 1-0, and Brodie Taylor on the break scored to make it 2-0 before half-time. But Edgeworth were very dominant that day. They probably haven't been as dominant today. There's Brodie Taylor and the free kick to Magic. It just shows you Magic have really improved. The incredible thing that I noticed was in the wash-up, Magic finished just 4 points behind Edgeworth on the ladder. After that defeat here at Magic Park in round 12, the gap between Edgeworth and Magic was 12 points.
Yeah.
So their finish to the season was just incredible. Matt Houle again on free kick duty. Curling this one into the breeze. Vajkovic trying to lay it off for Vigili. Gives it back to Matt Houle.
Nice ball
chipping
in.
it forward. McBrain doing another bit of work at the back. Vigili! Cavalieri with a brilliant save. An absolutely outstanding save. It bounced up off the surface. I don't know how much he knew about it. He's got a big smile on his face. That was one of the saves of the season. Reflex-wise, Smudge.
What a great save. What a big hand. Here we go.
Have a look at this. I'm sure he knew a lot about it.
It's a bit before that. Here we go.
Here it is. We may have just... You'll have to scroll back on your stream. That was incredible. Nate Cavalieri, take a Bowers. Edgeworth almost break free.
Dylan Holtz again doing that deep run beyond. That's what Magic need to be very careful of. If they don't track him, could be another goal coming. Good touch by Vigili. Great touch by Vigili.
Plenty of fouls being given away by Edgeworth. It's pretty much opposite of what happened in the round 1 match. Magic came out, gave away a lot of fouls in that one. So it's Edgeworth tonight.
I think it's difficult playing conditions. It's also the ground's a little bit bumpy. It's very windy, so it's not, the ball's not running truly. So,
Pasquale now, so fouls go back the other way. The defensive midfielder, Lockie Pasquale, taken to ground. 2.5 to go before the break. Here it is. Very physical between these two sides tonight. Josh Evans, the skipper, who played 1 match in the NSL for the Brisbane Strikers. Wheeler.
See McBrain dropping deep, causing the extra man in midfield. That's what I'm saying. He's causing the 6-man midfield when Edgeworth's got the ball. They're just sort of playing the one up front. And now causing a few problems from Broadmeadow.
Now that they have that away goal, he can afford to drop back a little deeper, can't he, Daniel McBrain? Do a bit more defensive work, as he has been.
Yeah, but it's in attack where he drops deep in the pockets, keeps Sanders up, he drops back in the midfield, creates an extra person. Magic's got 3 at the back. I'd probably track him back a little bit because then it's 2v1.
McLaughlin tries to get one up the line.
Therefore, if you've got Houle, Pennington and Johnny Griff marking one player like a Sanders and McBrain's dropping 10 yards back, free as a bird, I'd probably tell Hooley or Griff or one of them just to go with McBrain because he's becoming a problem. He's picking up the ball, he's able to turn and trying to play the ball in for the deep runners in Holtz and Brodie Taylor.
And here's Damien Zane on the bench. We mentioned 3 years as the Eagles coach, 3 times to the FFA Cup round of 32 and once to the round of 16. So twice to the round of 32, once to the round of 16. Three premierships, 2 championships. Here's Pettit, well blocked by Evans. Be hoping to make it 3 grand final appearances in 3 years. Is Sanders.
He's done well. What a...
Now towards Brodie Taylor. McBrain also in there, and McLaughlin finds Brodie Taylor, who's just offside. He kicks the ball away, and Magic fans and players aren't too impressed.
Just on that, Broadmeadow were quite lean at the back then. If he wasn't offside, it was 3v2 to Edgeworth. Magic would have been in trouble. They just need to be a bit careful. They can't afford to leak any more goals. You don't want to push numbers forward at the moment, or probably for the rest of the game.
So last time they played in a semi-final here in the NPL back in 2015. In the first leg they played here at Magic Park, it was 3-3 in that match. Edgeworth actually led 3-1 in that particular encounter. So then Magic fought back late with goals to Peter Haynes and Carl Bradbury in the final 20 minutes to make it 3-3 and set up an exciting second leg, which was 0-0. Could have gone either way as Shane Paul. Edgeworth got through on the away goals rule in that particular year.
I think with this strong win, I think Ruben, obviously, tough challenge.
into Kantarowski. He gets a yellow card, and the Magic fans, you probably haven't heard as big an applause as that in the opening half.
Poor Alex Kantarowski's been in the wars, hasn't he? But he just got up, gave Dylan Holtz a tap on the stomach, and just continued to play. That's what I love about Alex Kantarowski, and also Dylan Holtz. He just gave him a tap as well. But just going back, I think Ruben, obviously he'll be disappointed to concede, but he'll be obviously, 1-0 down. They've got the win in the second half. He'll be reasonably happy of the defensive unit, bar that lapse in concentration.
So it is a 1v1, as you probably heard Ruben Zadkovic saying on the touchline as Paul took on Holtz.
Yeah, but then Darren McLaughlin came over to make it 2v1. They do it so well, their defensive unit, Edgeworth.
Pettit, can they strike a major blow before the break? Cavalieri goes up and almost gets taken out by Josh Piddington, who was flying through.
I thought Piddington missed him, actually. I thought it was one of the Edgeworth players who actually took him out. I'd like to see that in the replay.
Yeah, maybe he did miss him, Piddington.
I think he went to balk him. You watch.
Here it is.
And I think, see?
He did.
Did he miss him?
Piddington didn't collect him. Cavalieri went up. And I think Cavalieri, in the back of his mind, he was thinking, Piddington's coming for me.
And it was Pat Wheeler.
And then he sort of bumped into Wheeler. I think he was trying to avoid Piddington.
Yep.
And in the end, bumped into Pat Wheeler. So it was a heavy blow in the end. And nothing illegal in that.
Yeah, and again, Magic here. Look how condensed the space is. There's no room to go through. They've been quite solid defensively, to be honest, bar that one chance where they just got a bit lean at the back.
So Glenn Peterkin ends the first quarter of this two-leg battle, Smudge, and it's Edgeworth who have a slender advantage. Daniel McBreen scoring again here at Magic Park in a big match against Broadmeadow Magic. And his goal before the half-hour mark has the Eagles in front. Half-time, it's Broadmeadow Magic 0, Edgeworth Eagles 1, Smudge. And there's a little, hang on a second, we've got a bit of a scuffle. It's Kieran Sanders and James Fotef, the Magic assistant coaches, having a chat to Glenn Peterkin. Getting involved there, Smudge.
Yeah, they're just
the crowd boo as they head down into the sheds. Gee, that could be interesting to have a look back. I only caught the last little bit of it, but yes, very interesting.
Oh, I missed it. I was sort of shaking hands as I was walking in the tunnel just then, but I wouldn't be too concerned. But Daniel McBreen, he's a big game player. He scored 2 goals in the grand final last year. He comes up on the spot again. But Dylan Holtz, it was that run from deep in behind. We spoke about it at the start of the game. That's where they're dangerous. That's what they do well. That's what Magic have to watch. But for me, Broadmeadow Magic defensive unit has been rock solid, bar that one single occasion. Coming into the second half, obviously Damien Zane will be happy at 1-0 lead at half time. You know what? Pretty even first half, wasn't it? Like, to be honest.
Very tight, very even. Let's get inside because I don't want to freeze. So let's warm up for the second half.
Freezing.
Edgeworth leading 1-0 here at Magic Park. We'll be back in 10. Welcome back to Magic Park for the second half. Edgeworth already out on the pitch. Magic just exiting the tunnels now. Dino Fadkovic leading Magic out onto the pitch. Daniel McBrain with the goal in the first half to put Edgeworth in front. Magic looking to fight back in the second stanza. So it'll be Edgeworth as the Magic skipper Josh Piddington heading out. Edgeworth from left to right in the second half. And John Griffiths, wasn't he crucial in that opening half? Breaking down plenty of Eagles attack. They only really had the one opportunity, Edgeworth, and they took it when it opened up for Dylan Holtz to set up Daniel McBrain. So the wind over 30 kilometres now from the south. It'll be behind Magic in the second half. We'll see if they can make it count. They haven't beaten Edgeworth in 8 matches. It's been over 2 and a bit years since they have done so. And we are underway. 45 minutes left in the first leg of this semi-final number 1. The premiers, I should say, Edgeworth up against 4th placed Broadmeadow Magic, who are on a 9-match winning streak coming into this one as Pasquale pushes the ball forward. Matt Houle at the back on the ball for Broadmeadow Magic. Can you see a route back into this one?
For Magic?
For Broadmeadow Magic.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the wind can cause havoc either way, so just at the moment, it feels like it just died off a little bit, actually, compared to the first half. So we'll see what happens. But for them, the key is they can't afford to concede another goal. If they go to Edgeworth with a 2-goal deficit, or even a 2 away goals, it's going to be very difficult for them to get back into the game. If it stays at 1-0, we wouldn't be happy with that. Then all the pressure's on Edgeworth next week at home. But you know what? I think they're a chance.
Here's Wheeler again. The ball just bumping up off the surface, and Bradbury taken down by Bryce legally.
Yeah, I thought it was a fair tackle by Bryce. So I think the key for Edgeworth here is just playing out the game. They just continue to play out the game. They'll hold their throw-ins, they'll hold their goal kicks. Just waste a little bit of time.
Scott Pettit has been relatively quiet tonight. Mentioned in the first half, 3 goals in his last 3 matches. Kept him contained, the Eagles' back 5.
I think for me, from Broadmeadow Magic, especially when they've got the ball, it's been so condensed. Get a bit of width. Try and use Carl Bradbury out a little bit wider. Same with James Virgili. Get them in one-on-one situations. So at the moment, it's too tight, way too tight.
And Edgeworth quickly looking wide. Brody Taylor's ball to McLaughlin. Well, John Sopoulos almost takes off Matt Houle's head there as Dylan Holtz goes to step inside Kanarowski. And Alex Kanarowski wins that duel. Those two have been going at it all night.
He's had a great game, Kanarowski. He's been one of Magic's best for sure.
Shane Paul. That's away from a few. Fogtef looking for Dino Fadkovic. Bizarri goes back to Cavalieri.
Just noticed the wind just picked up a little bit then, Bart, as he was about to kick.
And what a save he made in the first half, Nate Cavalieri, to keep Edgeworth in front. A shot from Virgili which bobbled up off the surface.
Reflex save, wasn't it? Nice big hands, just patting him on the handles. Excellent save. He's been in fine form this year, Nate Cavalieri.
He was outstanding in that FFA Cup defeat to South Melbourne. Absolutely outstanding. Matt Houle going over the top for Bradbury. It bounced perfectly over the top of Wheeler for Carl Bradbury. He threads it wide for Virgili.
John Bizarri, what a great interception. What a superb.
And it was a nice interchange of passing from Magic as well. McBrain curls this one forward for Sanders, but it's a little wider than really what he was aiming for. Now, Piddington has been collected by Sanders here. There's a bit of ill feeling between the Magic bench and Kieran Sanders in the first half.
He makes strong.
Now Sanders is going into the book for a yellow card, and the Magic fans appreciate that.
Yeah, he makes strong challenges, Sanders. That's part of his game. He's a very solid player, great touches, can bring people into play, scores beautiful goals, but he's a strong player as well. Doesn't mind a tough challenge.
It was as Piddington cleared that ball away. Here it is. Came in with the raised boot. Sopolis.
I feel like the wind's just starting to get a little bit stronger, isn't it, Bart? Gosh, the wind just popped up again. A bit chilly up in this box, isn't it?
Freezing, absolutely freezing. So Edgeworth with the free kick. And in that early part of the season, where Magic were struggling to win matches, they only won 3 of their opening 11 matches. Red cards, penalties, they were the major issue. Nico Giantsopoulos, he was red carded. Matt Houle, Josh Piddington. Plenty of red cards going on in the early part of the season. And since they've got it together, they've been unstoppable, as we've noted. Edgeworth lead here tonight.
Great ball by Josh Evans.
And Aiden Bryce. That may trickle over for a corner, but Shane Paul got there first.
Well done, Scotty.
This goes back to Wheeler.
And again, Magic very condensed.
Calm build up again from the Eagles. Pasquale Holtz.
See how tight Magic are. They've really compacted the space. It's really hard to play the 1-2s through. They need to get runners beyond Edgeworth, like they did.
It was a nice touch from Virgilian, wins the free kick. It was beautifully done as he chipped all over Bazari. He's just given a tug back. Wheeler's header is straight to Cale Bradbury. Stays, well, he gets back to his feet after shoulder-to-shoulder contact with Brodie Taylor. Bryce. Now Wheeler.
Yeah, well played by
into the teeth of a strong breeze, and McBreen just lost his bearings there. Fotef now. Not a bad ball to Vigili, but Dom Bazari. He's
been superb again tonight. Great interception. Sanders offside.
A mile offside, Kieran Sanders. He just lets it run on.
So me and you here, Bart, freezing our fingers off, aren't we? It's absolutely freezing here. Now, good old mate CT is at a party at Belmont, just lapping up a nice warm beer, or nice cold beer in the warmth of young Jim Armstrong's home.
Yeah, the warmth, I'm sure. They've got the air conditioner on.
Yeah, he's gone to a 50th tonight.
Heater.
Yep. Caroline Armstrong, Jim Armstrong's wife, is 50 tonight. So from Bar TV, we wish you a big 50th, Caroline. She's done a huge job with the Belmont Juniors over the years, and been a volunteer with her husband Jim. Worked with CT at Lake Macquarie as well. So she's really part of the soccer community, and we wish her a massive big 50th, and enjoy the night, and make sure CT bought you a big present.
And make sure CT doesn't drink too much, all right? Because otherwise he'll be in all sorts tomorrow. Matt Hall with a bit of a tug on Sanders there.
We need him on his game tomorrow in the second semi-final, because Bart, you're away. So a big congratulations to Caroline Armstrong. Happy 50th.
Yeah, I hope you're having a good night. Indoors away from this freezing breeze as Kanarowski rises. The ball, a few uneven bounces off the pitch. We mentioned pre-match about how dry the pitches are. Arthur Eden Oval, very similar, very bumpy and uneven, just with a lack of rain. They've had issues with their sprinklers there as well at Arthur Eden.
But also the wind. The wind's very difficult, isn't it? It's gusts around, doesn't it? It's hard to get the ball on the deck and just play.
In comparison, last year was very wet and struggling to get matches on at the back end of the season.
Exactly.
John Griffiths. Bradbury, that's nice little chip, and
Josh Evans. Josh Evans again, isn't he?
It's lovely close control, but stopped in his tracks by Josh Evans, who's now pushing forward and trying to find Dylan Holtz, who looked to be outpacing Fotef, who was block his run to the ball, and Giant Sopless
And again,
hoofs that one.
And again, Dylan Holt's running from deep. He's very dangerous, but Lawrence Fodef did tremendous there, and so did Giant Sopless. To me, the game's just sort of suiting Edgeworth just a little bit. It's very stop-start. There's not much room there. The wind's gusting around. It's hard to get into a fluent pattern of play. And just the last few minutes sort of just starting to suit Edgeworth as the clock winds down. However, don't discount Magic at all. Great ball by Sanders.
Brody Taylor. He's got Pettit coming down, and a bit of a strong shoulder into him. And in the end, it draws the goal kick for his side. So just repeating those earlier scores, Adamstown with a 1-0 win over the emerging Jets in the under-18s, who dramatically won the minor premiership in that competition over Hamilton with a few matches where players played ineligible players against Broadmeadow Magic, I think, and Edgeworth. The emerging Jets played a couple of games there, coached by Daniel McBreen, that side. And 0-0 in the 20s between Hamilton and Edgeworth. Here's McBreen, the goal scorer inside half an hour tonight. Bryce, infield, finds Pasquale. Looks a bit heavy, and is beating McLaughlin over the touchline.
CT usually tells us a few jokes, a few terrible jokes throughout the course of the game, but we haven't had any jokes tonight. However, Gary Fisher just sent me one through, or sent me about,
Here's Sanders trying to give Bazzari a run. He hasn't scored this year, Don Bazzari, one of only 2 or 3 if you include Cavalieri, but just one of 2 outfield players for Edgeworth that haven't got on the score sheet this year. The other one is Pat Wheeler. And there is Pat Wheeler with a header towards, I should say 1 of 3. Yeah, Pasquale also not on the board. So 14 different goal scorers this year, and they've gone through a few this year, Edgeworth. So Pasquale, Wheeler, Bazzari, the 3 that haven't scored that are outfield players.
hence Pasquale taking the spot kick last week and missed. So, nice touch by Sanders.
Turns on a dime.
And again, that's why we talk about their forward runs from deep.
And here's McBreen pushing forward. The clearance from Pettit fell straight into his lap. And here he is, Daniel McBreen, whipping one in. Appeals for handball against Matt Houle.
Yeah, it'd be a tough call if they called that.
Would have been very tough. Pasquale pushing forward. He was harassed by Dino Fajkovic, who goes charging down the opposite end of the ground.
And now it's open.
And now it opens for Brody Taylor down the right. He steps away from Shane Paul. Those two have been at each other this evening, Brody Taylor and Shane Paul.
Nice touch by Scott Pettit. Good interplay with John Griffith. Yeah, so just talking just earlier, CT's always comes up with a terrible joke or two during the live coverage, Bart, and we sort of half missed that today, or not really. But anyway, Gary Fisher's come up with a joke with us. I was just talking to Gary Fisher at half-time. I said, we've got no jokes today, Gary. He said, I'll make one up for you. He said, what do you call an Englishman in the knockout stages of the World Cup?
Something to do with penalties or choking.
A referee.
Sanders.
A referee.
Yeah, good.
Meaning. Do you get it, Bart?
Yeah, I get it. It's quality.
Hey, that wasn't mine. It was Gary Fisher's. Better than CT's.
John Griffiths. One forward.
Edgeworth a little bit deep here. Just outside their own yard box. A little bit of room in midfield for Magic here.
I don't mind that one smudge. I don't want. So Howard Webb or
probably,
Mark Clattenburg. Josh Piddington. And Houle. And Mark Clattenburg, star ref in the EPL, has actually gone to ref in Saudi Arabia or the UAE, I'm pretty sure. One of those nations, one of the Gulf countries.
Good money over there, Bart. Tax-free probably as well.
Even for the refs.
Yeah, even for the refs, yeah. Tax-free. Do it for a few years, you're retired.
There's Aiden Bryce.
They're breaking quick here, Edgeworth.
Pushing forward and finding Dylan Holtz. Did try and control it. Well, it was bouncing awkwardly up towards his waist, and he...
Yeah, difficult conditions, aren't they?
Yeah, he found it tough in the end. Bryce with the nod on to Taylor. See how high the ball is bouncing, just impossible to control at times.
But also the wind, so as it bounces, the wind holds it up, so it's a bit of a nightmare. Very difficult conditions. Credit to both sets of players.
But a very tight opening to the second half. Cavalieri goes Pettit and Bryce. Do you think Zadkovic should take, Ruben Zadkovic, Magic's coach, would take a 1-0 loss?
Definitely. Because then the pressure's on Edgeworth. Obviously they need to beat Edgeworth at Edgeworth, which is a difficult task. But a 1-0 loss isn't the end of, it's not the end of the world. But a 2-1 loss makes it a little bit more difficult, because that means they need to score minimum 2 goals at Edgeworth next week. Minimum.
Pennington. Now Paul.
Kieran Sanders, great work ethic, wasn't it? Closing down. The work he does off the ball, Kieran Sanders, is high quality as well, even with the ball. So yeah, I think the key for Magic, they do not concede again. Then the tie's still alive next week.
Sanders. Look infield, McBrain. Daniel McBrain gets flattened off the ball there. He was not happy at all.
Yeah, it's just checked by Johnny Griff. I think it was just a professional check. He did it quite well. The way Josh Evans read the ball. Oh, Pettit.
Pasquale. And off him. So less than half an hour to go in the first instalment of semi-final number 1. The first leg. Still, it's Daniel McBrain's goal in the opening half an hour, which is the difference between the sides. And there hasn't been much to talk about.
No. And just on that, the Peterkin, Peterkin, the referee's done a good job as well. We've barely mentioned his name.
Done a really good job.
In tough conditions as well. He's Virgili. No, Lawrence Photo, sorry.
Virgili now to Pettit. Just a little bit of frustration.
They need width here, Magic. I'd like to see Pettit start a little bit wider with the ball.
Here is Pettit curling one in. One moment. We saw that in the first half. Can change everything. There has been very few chances in this match. Magic had the one where Cavalieri made an awesome save and McBrain finished the other one. So apart from that, it has been tight and tense.
It's been a very defensive game, and both sides are very cautious. You don't want to lose a semi-final series in the first leg. We spoke about that. So here goes Shane Paul on one of his runs. Look how compact the space is. There's no room there. I'd like to see Magic get a bit more width, spread their back 3 out. Here's Bradbury.
Bradbury unleashes on the left. Wheeler turned his back, so that's why I was surprised about the appeals for handball. And Josh Evans showing his skills as a forward. He gets clipped. They're going to play advantage. Josh Evans is absolutely blowing up. And Kieran Sanders against the edge of the 18-yard box. Steps away skillfully from Pettit. And then Nico Giant-Soplis with a good stop in front of the near stick. It was regulation from Giant-Soplis, but it's one you need to make.
Still needs to make the save. Well done by Sanders. Great ball across by McBrain. But Josh Evans, again, he reads the play well, comes forward like an old Ned Zelic. He's been superb for me tonight. For me, he's been a standout on the pitch.
So Cale Bradbury with ball in hand. Just we pause play. Scott Pettit is down. It doesn't look good for him.
Alex Kanarowski's doing a bit of a stretch as well. Looks like he's cramping up a little bit.
Done a lot of work tonight, Magic.
I feel like the wind's just picking up again, but right behind Magic's back.
So on the bench for Magic, it's Charlie Cox, the youngster, Takumi Sanada, Jeremy Wilson, and Peter Haynes. So you'd expect, I would say, probably based on this scoreline, well, actually, maybe not. Maybe Ruben doesn't want to go for an attacking approach and wants to play more defensive. So if he's going down that path, then you'd expect potentially Jeremy Wilson, Charlie Cox in the midfield, bring him in.
I wouldn't change the defensive line at all, to be honest, Bart.
Peter Haynes.
Do you
think Peter Haynes is going to come on in his final match at Magic Park?
Yeah, I think so. They'll probably give him the last 15, 20 or so minutes. He can score, he's a big game player as well. He's scored some big games, scored some big goals in some big games, as we know. So you
can't leave a match like this without that question, can you? You know, if you don't bring on Haynes, as this one's curl in! Somehow Magic don't equalise. diving in. It was Cale Bradbury. He hasn't scored in his last 4 matches. It's a bit of a drought for him. He scored 9 this season, and he almost broke the drought there.
What a great ball by James Virgili. That's what they need. Get it in nice and early. Get it in flat. Very hard to defend. And Cale Bradbury just unlucky.
Maybe if his studs were a centimetre longer, they've got a touch on that. Sanders now, all of a sudden it turns around. Sanders, I tell you what, if it was a little lower, Giant Soplis was a few metres off his line.
Yeah, worth the go, I thought. He did very well. Been a very good battle between Pennington and John Griff and Sanders.
The game just opening up a little bit, isn't it, Smudge? 25 and a half to go. And Peter Haynes is stretching on the bench. He's having a chat to the physio. Tommy Russell down there.
Yeah, if I was Ruben, I'd probably get Peter Haynes on probably for the last 20 or so minutes. I think he might have a goal. I'm sorry, Bart.
Yeah, I was going to say that before, as we had that chance to Bradbury, you don't want to leave a match, not bring on Peter Haynes and go, gee, imagine if we had have brought him on. He just can produce. I'm sorry about the term I'm going to use here, but just some magic. It's Aiden Bryce, because he can't he?
Oh, 100%. And he's a big game player as well. And you know what? With the wind behind him, he's got a lethal shot from 25 yards out, so he'll be worth a go. But also, if I was Magic, I wouldn't do anything to the defence. They've been rock solid. They've just had one lapse in concentration, which cost the goal. They've been rock solid all game. I wouldn't be changing either of the back 5, unless there's an injury. Or even the 2 in front. Shane Paul and Kandarowski, they've been rock solid.
And Pat Wheeler. Back to Josh Evans.
Tell you what, Josh Evans, he's done well there. I tell you what, if he got caught with the ball, Magic were away. They could really play some good counter-attacking here, Magic.
John Griffiths. Now, Smudge, interesting, just want to ask you, so first leg of a semi-final, if you win, do you sing the same song?
I remember years ago, I think we won the premiership and we played Western first v fourth, and Western beat us at Western 2-1, and they'll sing the song so loud, and that just made us more angry, and we ended up winning 2-0 the second leg and got through the grand final. But I don't know, I'd leave it to the players.
Well, here we go, Dylan Holtz and
they've had
Kandarowski.
They have had a great battle, haven't they? I've enjoyed watching them. But you know, the thing is, they sort of just get up, give each other a little bit of a push and get on with it, don't they?
Yeah, oh, exactly. And they're back at it again, those two, as Aid Bryce just can't keep this one inside the line. He almost did. Yeah, a couple of years ago in 2015, it was the Lambton v Hamilton match. So here is the substitution for Edgeworth. Keanu Moore is going to make his way onto the ground for Dylan Holtz. He's been in the wars tonight. Yeah. Another really hard-working display from him. Just
on that, I think that's a very smart move. I think he's on a yellow card too, Dylan Holtz. I'm pretty sure he is. He's on a yellow card. So just wants to be a bit cautious with Dylan Holtz. He was limping a little bit. He's going to be frustrated out there. There's a good battle between him and Kandarowski. He's had a great game. I thought he's been one of Edgeworth's best. Oh, great ball.
Shane Paul with the outside of his boot sends Fajkovic charging down the left edge. His inside pass towards Bradbury was well cut out. And here's Pettit to Shane Paul. Things just looking a little brighter for Broadmeadow Magic at the moment. Lawrence Fotev tries to turn away from McLaughlin. Does so again. Finds Virgili. Takes on Bazari. Put in a pinpoint pass a few moments ago. So things just... Magic just starting to get themselves on top. And Pennington with a powerful header.
Yeah, and I've just noticed, just briefly, sorry. Yeah, so Edgeworth's defence is just dropping back a little bit deep. They're creating more space for Magic midfield. This is where I like to see Pettit high and wider. When Magic get the ball, I just like to see him a little bit wide. He's getting the ball too far inland, then he has to drive the ball out wide, so he's easy to pick. If he gets the ball out wide, he can create a one-on-one, and he's very good at one-on-one. So I like to see him, when Magic's got the ball, start a bit wider. Obviously tuck him when they're in defence. As soon as it breaks, as soon as they get the ball, get out nice and wide.
Here's Sanders. Now Bradbury. Decent crowd in tonight at Magic Park. You can hear them down below.
Yeah, the two grandstands are absolutely chockers. Also the clubhouse. So Not many people braving the cold out in the field, out in the far side or beyond the goals.
Plenty of talk out there. Here's Griffiths. And now Shane Paul. Not sure if he intended it to go in that direction. Edgeworth just moving their way ever so slightly. On the southern end of Magic Park.
And you look at their back three. You got your back three and Lockie Pasquale just sitting in front. So they've got their back four. Defensive, rock solid corner.
It will be. Almost into the final 20 minutes now. McLaughlin with his left boot. He's going to try and make it difficult for Giant Soplis, who has Sanders. Was on him for the moment. Giant Soplis came, didn't collect. And fortuitously for him, there was no one at the back post, but Evans puts it back in. Sanders' header isn't powerful enough. And Brodie Taylor, now Evans. It was an attempted shot, but it skewed off the side of his boot. And in the end, it fell for McLaughlin. Wheeler to Evans.
To the bounce.
And his touch was heavy, but he was able to get another boot in. And it falls for Magic now. Fotev has to chip it forward for Bradbury. To no avail.
That's good one-touch football from Edgeworth.
And Bryce now.
A few triangles. Oh, bounce for Wheeler.
Two goals this season for Aidan Bryce. The winner against Lake Macquarie in round 11 in stoppage time, and the final goal against Western in round 20 a few weeks ago in that.
Yeah, for a fullback, he tends to score every year, which is great. Good long throw.
Pops up every now and then from corners, and he does hit a...
Yeah, he hits a sweet ball, doesn't he?
He does. He hits some nice strikes.
And in this play, in this wing-back rally, gets nice and wide. He whips a beautiful ball in.
Scored a
Very versatile, he is.
He scored a great goal back a couple of years ago at Lambton.
Freezing up your butt.
Absolutely freezing. Although we're not getting blown over like
who was it?
Arthur Pappas was when he was commentating on the Hume City Bentley game. Was the wind was causing havoc in that one, so not quite as bad that one. More. Pasquale pushing forward. Here's McBrain. Does he try his luck? He doesn't. He chips it forward. Taylor. Well, it was close to what they conjured up last weekend. That was all in the box, but it was McBrain again trying to set up Brodie Taylor.
And Taylor doing his deep run again, running beyond the back three. Great ball across from McBrain. Actually, Taylor could have done better there, but it was probably hard, in very hard conditions with the wind. The wind's really gusting around, so hard to get a true read of the ball on the forehead. That was a great opportunity for Brodie Taylor. So, but we're going to have to start thinking about our sports click man of the match. For me, so far, still 15, 18 minutes ago, for me, Josh Evans at the back has been absolutely superb. His positional play has been spot on. When he's had to move forward with the ball, he's been great. He's created a few 2v1s in the midfield. But overall, he's been absolutely rock solid.
He has been. And players from both sides.
Yeah.
Can you think of a poor player out there on either side? They've both just been so outstanding.
You know what? I totally agree. I think both teams of players have been absolutely outstanding in the conditions. Here we go. Great ball to Sanders.
Here it is, Sanders. To try and make it 2-0. Can he tee up Taylor again? It's a carbon copy of what happened in round 11. Only Brodie Taylor can't finish on this occasion.
Another great run by Brodie Taylor, wasn't it, from deep?
Well, it was almost identical to that match earlier in the season.
What a superb ball. I think it was either Lockie Pasquale or Keanu Moore. And the ball was just behind Brodie Taylor. Great run by Brodie Taylor.
Was that a moment you put an asterisk next to? Was that a crucial moment As now McBrain tries to send Sanders on his way. He dives in. Giant Sopless didn't appreciate it.
Sanders needs to be careful. He's on a yellow card. Needs to be very careful. His studs was up a little bit. He just needs to be very careful. If I was Zane, I'd be telling him to settle down a little bit because he's such a crucial player for Edgeworth.
Does he bring him off? Would you bring him off?
Oh, I'd nearly consider it. However, if Edgeworth get a second goal here.
Pasquale gets absolutely smashed to the ground by Kanarowski, who now goes into the book.
See, the thing is, I know Kanarowski's frustrated with the challenge that Sanders put on Giant Sopless, and he's taken Pasquale out, but now Kanarowski's on a yellow card. They play next week. If he gets a yellow card and they win, he's out of the grand final. You only need 2 yellow cards and you're out. You need to be very careful.
Peter Haynes has the tracksuit pants off on the sideline.
Yeah, they've been off for about 5 minutes, Bart. I've noticed he's freezing down there.
Going to get himself warm. Evans. No changes from Ruben Zadkovic as of yet.
To be honest, like I said, both sides have played very well in conditions, and it's such a tight game, such an even game, and both defensive units from top to the back have been superb.
It's one of those matches where you don't want to make a change, do you?
Exactly right. Exactly
so
right.
Tight.
I would only make a change if I had to at the moment. Not a great ball.
Wheeler chips forward for Sanders. Giant Sopless can't claim again. Sanders, all he has to do is hit the target. He's going to look for another option. McLaughlin. Taylor is unmarked at the back post. And Giant Sopless takes it nicely. Brody Taylor, there was no one on him.
See, Sanders had the opportunity, but Johnny Griff was on his back, would not let him turn. Superb defensive work by John Griff.
Giant Sopless just launches one into the night sky, and Pat Wheeler's header,
superb. He
nicely
meant that.
Back to. Yep. I know, but it was a bit of an iffy one here in these conditions. You know, you get a little too much on that, and it can loop over your goalkeeper and in. It's McBrain's outside of the boot.
Just coming on Magic's back line here at the moment. They're trying to play a high line. The problem about playing a high line with the win or with.
And it was Bryce almost nods that one to Bradbury.
Just the Edgeworth playing into the wind. The problem with playing a high line with Edgeworth playing into the wind, they have deep runners playing beyond, so they can make that run beyond and be onside. Then they're away, and it's happened once or twice. Looks like we've got a substitution, Bart.
Here we go. Peter Haynes in his last match at Magic Park. This is his final match. It was his final regular season match a couple of weeks ago against the Jets youth in the 2-0 win, but this time, this is it.
And I think it's a good move by Ruben. I wouldn't have changed anything else except for probably Fadge. Haynes can play at the point. He'll be able to drop off, turn, and get a strike on goal from 20 yards out. I think he's going to be dangerous in the last 15.
Is there a magnificent moment for Peter Haynes as he rises? He's got the fitness and the energy to go here for the last 13 minutes, hasn't he?
He sure has. And the thing is, he loves big occasions. He's a great header of the ball. He knows this is his last home game. Like we said, he's had that many send-offs. Peter Haynes this year, more send-offs than Johnny Farlam, as we said. Another substitution.
So Alex Kantarowski, that's, I feel, Ruben Zadkovic just bringing him off because he is on a yellow card, and Sonata heads onto the park. So this is going to help them set piece-wise. Kigo Moriyasu, so the Edgeworth wizard from the set piece, like Sonata, he's on the bench. The two boys from Japan. So here's Sonata curling this one in towards the near post, and it almost crept its way in! As Bradbury unleashed and pushes it wide. Yeah. You heard how close that one was.
I know. Now, the thing with Alex Kanarowski, as a defensive unit with Shane Ball and Alex Kanarowski, sorry about that, sitting in front of the back five, has been absolutely rock solid and has limited Edgeworth to only a few chances today. Taking Kanarowski might open it up a little bit for the last 15. For me, that's just a slight risk. However, Sonata, they get a free kick, a corner, he's dangerous, as you know.
So Cavalieri keeps that one low and hard. Piddington to Sonata.
It was good last week, wasn't he, Sonata, as well?
Brilliant for him against Hamilton. It's McBrain over the top for straight to Giant Sopless. I was going to mention, next week they play at 7 p.m. these two sides at Jack McLaughlin Oval. And we will be live about 5 minutes, 10 minutes before then. We'll also be live at 1 o'clock, I believe it is, at
it's an
at
early kickoff, isn't it?
1 o'clock due to Hamilton's 20s playing at Edgeworth at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. That's the reason that's been brought forward. So, yeah, about 1 o'clock, the kickoff at Darling Street Oval for the second semi-final. And then on Sunday, we've got the extra special contest, the New FM Grand Final. Bell Swans are through. That's 4:15 p.m. here at Magic Park. They will play either Cooks Hill or Thornton. Cooks Hill won the first leg 3-0 last weekend.
Another 3-way goals, weren't they? So they're in the box seat.
Graham Law's men. Yeah, so.
And just on that, Sport Click is doing a man of the match for the New FM Grand Final.
Yes, they will be. So looking forward to that. Yeah, next Sunday here.
Just on Sports Click as our man of the match sponsor, Joel Grinnell has man of the match throughout the course of the season has been a $50 voucher, Puma voucher at Sports Click. For the semi-final series and grand final series, it's a $100 voucher.
He's upping it.
He's upping it for the semi-final series. So well done, Joel Grinnell. So if you want to know more about Sports Click and Puma and all the array of gear he's got, go and talk to or see Joel Grinnell Sports Click.
Here's Brodie Taylor. It opens up for him again. He gets bundled over, and Peterkin doesn't blow the whistle. It stays silent. The crowd here at Magic Park, as you would expect. Was it shoulder to shoulder, Smudge, or was that a penalty?
Well, I'm going shoulder to shoulder.
I want to see another replay, but live.
He was slightly behind him, but wasn't he?
Live, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was given a penalty. I'll say that much. Here's called in, Haynes.
Oh!
So close.
He's a big game player. Yeah, I'd like to see the replay on that. It was shoulder to shoulder, but the other thing is...
So it will be a corner here for Magic. It's all happening. Daniel McBreen now blowing up at Peterkin about the penalty.
It looked like shoulder to shoulder, however, was the shoulder to shoulder slightly behind.
Here's Virgili curling it in towards Peter Haynes. And McBreen puts it over for another corner. Live, I thought it was a penalty.
You know what, live, it looked pretty close to a penalty.
I'm just going to say it, I thought it was a penalty live.
Yeah, it did look shoulder to shoulder, however, it looked like Pettit was slightly behind Brodie Taylor with the shoulder to shoulder. It was pretty, so I'd like to see the replay.
I'll put my nose on the line, Smudge.
And again, Brodie Taylor making the deep run. Him and Dylan Holtz do it the best. They do it the best in the competition.
Here's Sonata curling it in. Headed away. Bradbury again. Blocked by Brodie Taylor. With the bright orange boots, Taylor charges forward. And now Sanders off for Taylor. Now Josh Evans pushing forward again. Bundled to ground. And the free kick goes against Josh Evans.
Yeah, I don't know what Josh Evans is doing. He's been superb. If I was him, if I was Damien Zan, I'd just telling him to sit at the back. I suppose he would have had cover and they were on the break. They'll transition very quickly, but... You know, just need to be a little bit careful. Haynes.
That Hool. Forward, Haynes rose. Just couldn't get his noggin onto it.
Or his hand.
Hand of Peter Haynes.
Yeah, it looked like his hand was slightly raised.
Yeah, it got it. Was a little.
Looked like Cavaliers kicking the ball outside the 18-yard box just then.
Well, he did get pinged for that. Ball. We'll come back to that. Here's Sanders! Giant Sopler saves again. And that was knuckling, wasn't it?
This game has really opened up, hasn't it, Bart?
Here is Taylor. And now Moore into Griffiths. Well, if you've only just tuned in, you've got the best part of this one. Pasquale straight into the waiting arms of Nico Giant Soplis. Don't go anywhere. This is a cracking showdown.
I still think Magic need to be careful pushing numbers forward. They don't want to get lean at the back.
Daniel McBreen's
Here we go.
Score is Keanu Moore straight into the back of Piddington, who I don't think changed his line.
No, he stayed still. That was very smart play by Piddington. Such a professional block.
Yeah, Daniel McBreen with the goal inside the opening half hour. That is all that separates the sides. And now Evans to Bazari.
Hasn't the game opened up? And you know the other thing is, Edgeworth's defence is sitting pretty deep as well. I'd probably push up a bit, condense the space. And the other thing I'd like to see with Broadmeadow Magic, if they get the ball, I want to see Scotty Pettit out wider, nice and wide, spread the game.
He's got no one on him out on the left edge as Scott Pettit. So
no,
there's a throw here for
Magic.
Magic.
Get him out wider here. I think Ruben's trying to tell him now to come out a little bit wider, even further, get really wide.
McLaughlin Chipping over the top, Piddington. Don't know if that one will stay inside. It won't. I was talking to Nate Cavalieri about whether he's kicking the ball just outside the 18. He was actually pinged for that in the FFA Cup round 7 match against Maitland.
To me, he looked like he was about a yard outside, but to be honest, from this angle, it's hard to tell. But he just seemed a little bit.
Matt Thompson almost made him pay. Here's Haynes with the touch on Julia with the free kick from just the edge of the box. Sonata looking for Haynes.
Foul.
And it is a foul. And Edgeworth, as you would expect, not impressed. But they're going to have to go about defending this in the best way possible. And it's Takumi Sonata, the free kick specialist. He has not scored this season for Magic. He did have a free kick which deflected off one of the Hamilton defenders. I think it was Tom Davies, and opened the scoring against Olympic in that match in round 11, but it wasn't awarded to him. It was an own goal.
Good. Probably not the best angle for him, however. He's got the wind behind him. If he can just get it down over the wall, he's a chance, because the wind's going to skim it on.
Well, what a moment to score your first goal in Broadmeadow Magic colours. He scored in a trial before the season began against Bulli. But this is semi-final time. Sonata takes a deep breath, curls it over the bar.
The hardest part about that, you've got the breeze behind him. Once it gets over, it's hard to dip it down. The wind's just going to take it up and above.
It wasn't a bad effort though, was it?
Yeah, it's fair effort. Would have been good to have a left footer coming in there and driving a little bit lower. But unfortunately for Magic, they've got no left footers out in the park. Luke Virgili's actually off the park.
And that's where they've had difficulties on those corners on the left side. Matt Hull's been taking those.
That's what I mean. Luke Virgili's a massive loss for Broadmeadow. He just makes the side balance. You need a left footer in your side.
Expected to come back in next week, Luke Virgili. Less than 5 to go. McBreen now with the free kick given away. And Matt Paul Zadkovic now showing some skill on the sideline. I'm sure he'd love to be out there right now, wouldn't he? Ruben Zadkovic. There's John Griffiths. Towards Haynes. Bradbury. And now Evans. And now Lawrence Fotef. Is that a costly error? He's given it straight to Keanu Moore, who...
Piddington, superb, well read.
Very well read from Josh Piddington.
Because they were in trouble there, Broadmeadow. Well read. Oh, great turn by McBreen.
McBreen over the top. Taylor, who is onside. Sanders stayed out of it. Taylor takes them on.
Shane Paul, quality.
Here's Sanders. Shane Paul, he's like a dog with a bone, isn't he? Wouldn't let Sanders go. Now Pettit, unable to stop Sanders, and the ball is straight to Fotef. He'll be relieved after the error, which invited Edgeworth down their end of the ground. Haynes has chipped the ball over the top with the wind behind.
Yeah, very difficult. So
they've shown enough, haven't they, Magic here to...
Magic have been good, mate. They've been very good. I thought it was going to be a very tight game. I tipped the draw. I thought it was going to be very tight, especially both sides playing like a 5-3-2. So it's very tight, very compact.
And I tipped Edgeworth, so that means that you're in trouble in the footy.
I'm in trouble, yeah. This is 3 points, isn't it?
Yes, yep, 3 points.
What did CT pick?
He tipped Edgeworth as well.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. Not over yet, mate. Still 3 minutes to go.
Cavalieri.
So just going back on SportsClick, if you're looking to find any apparel, Puma, go and look at Joel on Facebook, SportsClick. Oh. So what are your thoughts on man of the match, Bart? Oh, well defended by Pat Wheeler.
In such a tight game, I think you've got to go towards the defence of both sides. And with Edgeworth in front, you look at Edgeworth and you probably say any of their back three, I know they're playing a back five, but they're 3 central men.
Central, yeah.
Could take this man of the match out. And Josh Evans, again, he stood tall tonight.
He's stood very tall, you know, and he's crept into the midfield when he's had to. Created that extra man. He's had a superb game for me. I think the whole 22 players, plus subs who have come on, have been absolutely superb.
Here's Bradbury.
And it's been a pretty good spectacle considering the conditions, because they're very tough conditions for both set of players and commentators.
So here is Sanders.
Oh, great ball by Sanders.
Now Keanu Moore in the middle. Does McBreen take it on himself? McBreen with the outside of the boot. Was he in two minds there? Was he looking for Keanu Moore?
Do you know what?
He says sorry to Keanu Moore. I think he was.
Yeah. I just think, here we go again.
He was thinking he saw that gap, didn't he, open up, and then
Probably
it was
should have.
neither here nor there.
You know what? It was actually that close. He probably should have went straight at Giantsopolis and tried to bend it round Giantsopolis. I tell you what, they get the second goal there. They're going to be very hard to beat in the second leg. Oh. Magic very lucky off the hook at that time. So you're getting Pettit. I like to see him wider. So he has to get the ball and drag it out himself. So it's easy pickings.
They've scored 25 goals in their last 9 matches, Magic. They've conceded just 5 in the last 9. So those 9-match winning streak, they have towed up the goals and have been miserly in defence. Again tonight, they have just conceded the 1, but yet to keep that goal-scoring streak alive. They haven't been kept scoreless since round 12 when they played Edgeworth.
And
So
again,
it will be a corner here for Broadmeadow Magic.
Josh Evans again with the crucial header.
Less than 20 seconds now of regulation time. How many minutes of stoppage time? I'm thinking about 3, potentially 4. Sonata curls it in. They rise! Oh! Cavalieri with another brilliant save. It was John Griffiths with the header there.
He's been superb too, hasn't he, John Griffiths?
So they go short. A trick shot here from Magic. It's Griffiths with a header again. Haynes was pushing forward.
You know what? I wouldn't have went short there. I would have got it straight in the box. That's where the danger ball is. The wind's blowing everywhere. Magic's got the wind. I would have went straight in the box for Sonata.
Pettit to Bradbury.
Good turn.
He has Haynes central. Bradbury takes it on himself, and Cavalieri decides he'll control it with his boot. Well, let's get Peter Haynes trot forward and just takes a few more valuable seconds out of this one.
You know what, for me, Edgeworth, if they get a result here 1-0, it's a superb effort. Away from home, an away goal against the most informed team in the competition, Broadmeadow Magic, winning 9 in a row. That's more than Edgeworth. I think their last 9 games, they lost 2 games. There's been a professional display from both sides.
McBrain with a nod on. Sanders gets there before Hoole.
Uses his body well, doesn't he?
And he'll just sit there in the corner. He's happy to do that, Kieran Sanders. He's got great close ball control.
Yeah, he did very well then, didn't he?
Speaking of how cold it is, Steve Laurie down there, his linesman tonight, assistant referee, he's got a shirt on. He must be absolutely frozen because the assistant referees don't move that much. Here's Sanders again. Down towards the corner.
Johnny Griff, well done.
And now Bradbury. Pasquale there to intercept.
So we need to, so Sports collect man of the match. Are we going to go John Griffith? I mean, sorry. He's been superb as well. Sorry, I do apologise. Yeah. Josh Evans?
Josh Evans.
Sorry about that, yeah.
I'm happy with Josh Evans.
I think whole 22 players plus subs have been absolutely superb, the whole lot of them.
Oh, exactly. Here's Keanu Moore trying to weave his way through some tight spots. Hasn't had much time out there this evening.
I'd like to say full credit to Ruben and also Damien Zane, because I think tactically they've both summed each other up perfectly. It's been such a tight game, limited chances for both sides, and I think in the end, Edgeworth, it's not over yet, but if...
Taylor, Sanders again. Giantsopolis just inside his area. He's caused constant problems for the Magic defence, hasn't he, Kieran Sanders tonight?
He's a very good player, isn't he?
Here's Evans. Holds it away. Shane Paul pushing forward. Keanu Moore picks up the ball and wins the free kick. Now, I was talking, Smudge, about whether you sing the team song at the end of a first leg. Hamilton, a couple of years ago, won the first leg at Darling Street against Dave Tamchesky's Lambton Jaffers. He was the coach of the Jaffers, and Tamchesky actually said to Michael Bolche, "You're going to sing the team song, Bolche? It's only half time." And Hamilton went in and sung the team song. So
it's still a victory, even though it's only half time. It's still a victory.
Here's Bryce. So it will be an end to Magic's 9-game unbeaten run. And Edgeworth put a full stop on Magic's winning streak and put themselves within touching distance of a 3rd consecutive grand final appearance. The Eagles extend their unbeaten run against Magic to 9 matches. And Broadmeadow will have it all to do next Saturday at Jack McLaughlin Oval. They'll need to score a goal to send it into extra time twice at least to win. And they have lost just twice at Jack McLaughlin Oval, Edgeworth, in the last 2 seasons. It will be an uphill battle for Magic, but they've done well here tonight. It's only a goal the difference, so it is nowhere near over, this clash. Daniel McBreen with the only goal inside the opening half an hour to ensure that Edgeworth head into the second leg with the valuable away goal. A reminder, tomorrow from 2:25 p.m. with Damien Smith and Chris Turner, it's Lambton Jaffers up against Hamilton Olympic at Arthur Eden Oval. 2v3. Hamilton finishing the season in second. 3 points off, 3 points away from Edgeworth, and Lambton 4 points back. Level on points with Broadmeadow Magic in third position on the ladder. So that should be a cracking match. Also tomorrow on Bar TV from 2:55 p.m, the WPL, the Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final. That will be live tomorrow from Jack McLaughlin Oval at Edgeworth. Warners Bay, the premiers, taking on the runners-up, Merewether United, who won the Grand Final in 2015. Warners Bay won the Grand Final last season. So the two previous Grand Final winners up against each other as Warners Bay look to do the double for the first time in their history and win their second consecutive Grand Final. The only side, as I mentioned earlier tonight, that has done the double in the WPL is Merewether back in 2015 in 9 seasons. So should be a fascinating contest. Next week, 2 semi-finals are both on Saturday. Hamilton Olympic up against Lambton from the earlier time around 1 p.m. Got to confirm that kickoff, and the second leg of this contest 7 p.m. next Saturday at Jack McLaughlin Oval. We're going to head downstairs. Damien Smith is with our Sports Click man of the match, Josh Evans.
Okay, we have Josh Evans, Edgeworth's captain, mate. You're our Sports Click man of the match with a $100 Puma voucher for Sports Click, mate. Tough conditions out there?
Yeah, extremely. The wind really, first half, it was going our way, but second half they started playing the long ball a lot more, and yeah, tough conditions, but just glad to get away with the win, to be honest. Yeah,
I knew it was going to, like Magic coming on nine wins in a row. Obviously, they're probably, like yourselves, the form teams of the competition. You both set up very similar, playing like a 5-3-2, very tight, especially the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We know they're attacking weapons. We know they've got pace and speed and skill, so we set up to defend that, I guess, and yeah, lucky to not concede, to be honest, yeah.
Your back line, your back three, Don Bazzari, Pat Wheeler and yourself, plus your wide Aaron McLaughlin and Aidan Bryce were absolutely superb. Limited Magic to like a few chances. But yourself, you came in the midfield a few times, created that overloading midfield and were able to play through a fair few times. You've done well and going forward.
Yeah, look, our back line has definitely been the rock solid thing for us for the last couple of years, and yeah, credit to the boys again. Limiting them to only a couple of chances is very good against a good team like Broadmeadow.
Going back to Daniel McBreen, is a big game player, scores in the big game, scored 2 in the grand final last year.
Yeah, look, he's only got 3 this season, now 4, I think, so it's good for him to get a goal, and especially coming into finals.
Yeah, and his combination with Kieran Sanders up front is absolutely superb. Them two are a great combination.
Yeah, it's a credit to have them just, training with us and quality players, so they make everyone better, and yeah, Mucka does show us, the way to score.
Now, you won the game 1-0. I just walked into the dressing room. No song today. It's half-time for you guys.
Yeah, look, we know we can't celebrate. We have to back the drawing board and get ready for next week. They're going to come out twice as hard, and yeah, can't wait for it.
Well, Joshy, we wish you all the best next week, and you're our Sports Click man of the match.
Thank you. Thanks to Puma, and thanks for the interview. Cheers.
Thanks, Joshy.
All right, Smudge, we'll wrap it up. Tomorrow, Lambton up against Hamilton Olympic. Your thoughts on that one as I try and keep my feet?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be warmer than tonight, Bart, because tonight was absolutely freezing. For me, I think it's going to be a heated battle. I think it's going to be, Lambton have beat Hamilton twice this year, but I don't know if Lambton's going to have their own way. Obviously, Olympic's going to have some plays back from last week, so for me, it's going to be very tight. I think Olympic might get an away win.
Now, James Pascoe said today in the Herald that they could run a cricket score up against Olympic if they play at their best. Do you think that could be the case tomorrow?
Yeah, I was talking to Michael Bolts this morning, actually, and I told him to wear his cricket helmet to the game, but I don't think he'll do that. But I don't know. I don't think they'll run a cricket score up. But the thing with Lambton, they do concede goals. So, and at the moment, Olympic playing with a back five are very tight, very compact, hard to score against. So Lambton need to be very tight at the back.
And two small grounds as well, both Arthur Eden and Darling Street. They suit Olympic, don't they?
They definitely suit Olympic. They sort of play a second phase play, and they definitely suit Olympic. They also suit, the older leagues of Lambton as well. So I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Love semi-final time. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kane Goodchild has scored 4 goals, I think, in his last 2 matches there. So look out for him tomorrow. I'll be at the WPL Grand Final. That's live from 2:55 Warners Bay and Merewether. Good luck to UNCT tomorrow, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow at whatever venue you choose. So thanks for joining us tonight, and full time here at Magic Park. It finished Broadmeadow Magic 0, Edgeworth Eagles 1.